Hey, welcome back. So here's a really neat application of Henry's law. So imagine you want to know how much ethanol is in someone's blood. So we have here a sample of blood. I guess we could put it in a beaker, although I'm not sure that the person having the breathalyzer test would be very excited by this. And inside of this is a certain concentration of ethanol. And we are going to go ahead and try and find this concentration out. Well, it turns out that if you've got ethanol in a solution, it can also form a gas, and so it can form ethanol vapor. So there's the gaseous form. And why is that useful? Well, Henry's law can actually be used here. So the solubility of ethanol is going to be equal to the Henry's law constant for ethanol in blood times by the pressure of the ethanol above the blood. So in the last section, right, we went ahead and we put the gas above the liquid and we kind of pressurized it and watched it dissolve, but it actually goes in reverse as well. If we have the gas dissolved in the liquid, we can go ahead and we can measure its concentration by measuring the pressure of the gas above the liquid. So if you breathe out into a breathalyzer, then your lungs contain ethanol vapor that are coming from ethanol dissolved in your blood. And so by measuring this pressure, you can calculate this. So how would we go ahead and we calculate this? Well, we need to know the Henry's law constant and the partial pressure of ethanol. So let's say we were able to look these up, and perhaps this one here corresponds to be something like 200 molarity per atmosphere. And maybe in a breathalyzer, we end up measuring a pressure of ethanol that is something on the order of 0.0010 atmospheres. Then we can go ahead and we can calculate the solubility of ethanol in blood. So we would take our 200 molarity per atmosphere and we would multiply by our partial pressure of ethanol in the breathalyzer, so 0.0010 atmospheres. And then we can put that together, and let's see, that would give us a concentration, I believe, of 0.2 moles per liter. So I think that's probably way too high, and I think that would probably pickle you alive. The real story of how breathalyzers works is actually a little bit more involved for this class, so we won't really go into it. But one interesting thing actually is that this Henry's law constant probably varies from person to person. Blood is a very complicated mixture of things. It's not just, red food dye and water. And so it turns out that every individual probably has a slightly different Henry's law constant. And so, of course, if you have a slightly higher Henry's law constant than what is assumed, then you will end up with a calculation of the ethanol that is completely bogus. So be very careful. And probably the most precise way to calculate the ethanol concentration in blood is to draw a sample and directly measure it using something like gas chromatography. All right, let's move on to something else.